people. Bit of noise there.
Be a lot of noise, and they're extremely vocal, extremely passionate people. So it's one of the loudest stadiums you'll play at. The surface is fantastic. So even if it is particularly cold, the surface won't be wet. So that's good. But the ball will still carry some of that dew from the conditions.
And a 9 o'clock start. Did you ever play that late when you've played over there?
You always play fairly late. Yeah.
That's a European thing. I know they eat late, but I mean...
they do everything a bit later.
It has even attracted criticism from the French players. So it's a TV commitment for the local telecast, and much of these things are dictated, of course, by the local broadcasters. But, yeah, so it's interesting to hear that the home side wasn't that happy about it either.
Yeah, which is interesting. I think they even had the gall to say that it would favour the Australians, which is quite funny in a way when you consider we don't often play in -2 degrees, with the exception of maybe the Brumbies every now and again. But
well, that's the forecast temperature. Of course, our commentator John Harris-Bass will be able to give us more information, I hope, on the exact conditions and what these guys are going to have to go through in this game. Sterling Mortlock leading them out. And there is Sebastian Chabal, and it was actually said during the week that it's not a cliche bringing him into the side for this game. He is, of course, a very colourful player. The French crowd love him. He's inspirational. He worked very hard on the tour here earlier this year, didn't he, in a side that was certainly overmatched.
Yeah, he did, and you're right. You can nearly tell how the French side is going to play by how well they're going to play by how aggressive and how dominant Chabal is. I've seen him put on some amazing hits, and it can really lift his side. So he's a pretty good indication for how the French are going to play.
Well, there'll be a lot of feeling in this game. A big occasion, a lot of build-up from the French. Great response from the crowd as they run out for this game. Of course, this was where the final of the World Cup was played, where I think quite rightly the French fans expected, after beating New Zealand, to be in that final.
I was just about to say, with so many, I guess, unknown players in the French side, you really don't know what you're going to get, and they're capable of beating anyone on their night, as the All Blacks would quite rightly understand.
We didn't see a lot of the Australian bench in that game against England. We saw much of it against Italy, quite a few of the players, and of course Quade Cooper, an unforgettable run on there to actually steal the game for Australia. But against Twickenham it was a little tighter, a little trickier, a little more tense. So the shape of this game will be interesting too, to see whether Robbie Deans feels he needs to use that bench, particularly with Cliffy Palu starting the game. His muscle was very significant, wasn't it, in that game against England?
Yeah, it was. The only change, if any, I would see is if Mark Chisholm, if our line-out's not going particularly well, Mark Chisholm may come on.
Let's pause now, of course, for the national anthems. commentator for this game, John Harris-Bass, before a full house, 80,000 people at Stade de France, Australia versus France.
The team in blue. Let's take a look at the two teams. For the Wallabies, 3 changes have been made to the side that dismantled England at Twickenham a week ago. All of them come in the pack, which seems somewhat surprising after Australia put together their best scrummaging performance in recent history en route to a 28-14 win. Ben Alexander comes in at prop in place of Ben Robinson. Dean Marm slots into the back row, and that pushes Hugh McManaman into the second row at the expense of Mark Chisholm. Wycliffe Parley plays at 8 after Richard Brown was ruled out of the match due to injury. Robbie Deans keeps his backline unchanged. For France, there are just 2 changes, one forced and one based solely on Lièvremont's judgment. Sébastien Thillot-Borde will start at scrum half after Jean-Baptiste Elissalde was adjudged to have to sit out the next 2 weeks after being knocked unconscious by Napoleone Nalaga. The other is Sebastian Chabal, brought into the team to beef up the pack against a scrummage that was outstanding for the Wallabies, both in the summer and against England. He replaces Romain Miloš-Hrušky, who's had 2 excellent 80-minute showings for Les Bleus, according to Marc Lièvremont. This is the 39th test between teams representing Australia and France. Australia have won 20, France 16, and there have been 2 draws. 19 tests have been played between the 2 nations on French soil, with France having won 12 to Australia's 6, whilst 1 was drawn. France have won the last 3 clashes on home soil, Australia's last success, an 18-13 win in Paris in 2000. Craig Joubert is the referee who gets us underway, with Matt Guittard kicking off to his backs, and it's immediately well collected there. But joining from the side, George Smith is penalised, and it's a penalty to France. Well, those humiliating losses in the summer will want to be laid to rest. David Schreuler with his first penalty kick. It's not his best effort, but he has found touch. In at fly half due to injuries to both François Trinduc and Lionel Beauxis, Schreuler has performed adequately, I think, so far. No one would say it's been outstanding. Chabal takes at the front of the line. It's out to Schreuler. Mismove into Babi, and Babi sends a huge pass out to Malzieu, who gets a chance to motor straight away. He tries to chip it ahead, but the Clermont winger puts it straight into touch, and so that'll be a line out to the Aussies. Just about on the gain line. Wallaby side, Sterling Mortlock on the crash ball. Now taken out the back by Luc Burgess, but he's scragged by Sazewski. And it's going to be a penalty to France. Holding on, Luc Burgess, and an early opportunity here. Lionel Nallet, I'm sure, will decide to go for the posts, and David Schreuler will get his first shot at 3 points. Great work there from Fulgence Ouedraogo, along with Sazewski. And it is interesting, 4 of this pack played down under in the summer tests. Ouedraogo is one of them. Lionel Nallet another. Emmanuel Arénaudeki. And Thierry Dusautoir, of course, wasn't there. Sebastian Chabal, the 4th member. And the Australian press have been fairly damning about the French in the build-up to this test. It's a long effort for Schreuder, just shy of that 10-yard line. So he's going to need to give it a fair welly, but it is pretty straight. Pushes it just wide of the upright. Well, he brought up 100 points in Test match rugby against the Pacific Islanders. Well, Lièvremont knows how important that could have been if it had gone straight over. Touchdown by the moustache-bearing Adam Ashley-Cooper. And it's going to be Matt Guittard, who played so superbly against England just a week ago, who gets us back underway. Deep kick to Malzieu. Now Schreuler with the up and under. Collected well by the winger. Peter Hines. It's going to be a first penalty to Australia there. And it's Chabal playing the ball when he's not allowed to. So there is a bubbly atmosphere here at the Stade de France this evening, but The Australians know that they can quell that very quickly with territory and points. Giteau kicks for position. Line out is solid again. Mumm used for the second time, and the Australians straight into the backs. This time on the crash ball comes Ryan Cross. Fired out to Wycliffe Palu.
Run away, 7.
Warning there for Ouedraogo to get away. And Nathan Sharp carries it forward this time as the Australians bring themselves up to the edge of the 22. Sterling Mortlock goes short. Palu this time.
Run away, 6.
Just able to get the ball back there. Good work from Sazevski. Giteau goes on a little dummy. He's caught in the middle there. It's the two props who put pay to that attack. Nathan Sharp charges forward, cheered on by the Wallaby supporters here. This time carried forward once again by the other lock. That's a great tackle though, and Chabal puts a thunderous left boot to the ball to carry play clear. Line out this time spoiled by the French. The Aussies still come up with the ball. And the number 8 there, penalised. Fulgence Ouedraogo is very upset with Palu. Lionel Nallet takes Nathan Sharp to one side and tells him to leave that alone. Nothing to do with him. Good play from the French skipper. Ouedraogo did very well, but it's Emmanuel Alinordaki who's been penalised for not rolling away, and second time in as many minutes that the French have conceded a penalty in a very similar position on the pitch, and it just allows Australia the opportunity to put themselves deep into French territory and apply some pressure. Stephen Moore so far doing well in the line-out, but this time the ball not taken by Hugh McManaman, and the French have a good ball. Thilo Borde will go back to Strela, and he goes for the up and under and collects brilliantly. Sterling Mortlock nowhere near the number 10. Thilo Borde gets it out, and this time sent crossfield by the French. Aimaz bears down on his opposite man, and Drew Mitchell is shuffled into touch. And that's a great piece of enterprising French rugby that takes them into the Australian 22, and they have the line-out ball.
On your ball, I want your dummy.
There was the Strela crossfield kick. And it's wonderfly collected. And they got the ball back to Strela again. And he put a superb kick. Plenty of pressure on Drew Mitchell, who was harangued into touch. French carry the ball forward, this time through Chabal. Dusautoir decides to have a go, and Dusautoir breaks 2 tackles. He's supported by Sazevski and Maz. Picked up to Emmanuel Alinordaki. Now just 10 yards short, and this is going to get the French fires of passion burning. Chabal makes another couple of yards. Released by Thilo Borde. This one slightly slower ball, and they just need to reset it. Thilo Borde goes blind, then comes back, and Sazevski goes for the drop, and he's pulled it wide. Well, that is a waste. Very disappointing. Should have done better there. You can tell by the look of anguish on David Strela's face there how disappointed he was, and a real let-off for the Australians. Should have found themselves down. As it is, France have now missed a penalty, and also missed a really good drop goal attempt. Matt Giteau demanding a ball. Promising start for Marc Lièvremont's men though. Won't be too disappointed.
Cheers.
What he will know is that they can't spurn too many opportunities at collecting points against an Australian side who have dismissed both sets of European opposition they played so far. A much more emphatic performance it was against England than it had been against Italy a week beforehand. Great collect from Adam Ashley Cooper. Ball now released to Giteau. To the line came McMenamin. He had Sterling Mortlock outside him. Tidy ball from the Aussie skipper. Giteau has to come into scrum half. Now carried forward by Dean Mumm. Whisked out again. Mortlock. That's not such a good pass, and there could be a chance if Aimaz needed support, and at the end, oh, it was so close. And Maxime Médard has to cover back, and the ball dribbles into touch. And a fly hack ahead by George Smith in the end worked rather well for the Aussies, who now find themselves on the edge of the French 22 with just under 10 minutes play. Well collected in the end by Lionel Nallet.
Yeah, we're inside, Cengiz.
His Castres teammate, Sébastien Thillot-Borde. Going back there went scrum half Luke Burgess, but he got annihilated. He's in the middle of that, so it's going to be Stephen Moore who gets it back, but plucked out of the air by Thillot-Borde before he goes down again. And then has to kick rather hopefully for touch, which is found. Line-out ball from Australia, won by Mumm once again into Giteau. Decides to have a go himself. He's brought down very rapidly there by the French, who are up very quickly, looking to turn it over, and it's been knocked forward, I think, there by the Australians. So the first set scrummage has taken 11 minutes to arrive in the game. And there's the tackle from Dusautoir. Great work there. Had Giteau lined up the whole way. Took him to the cleanest. So with this little injury break, Nathan Sharp having some extra strapping put in his hands, yet to have any points scored here. It's been a missed drop goal attempt as well just 5 minutes ago.
There's the mark. I want a small gap, please. Much closer, much closer. Yes, yes. Stay here, come up, come up, come up. I want both teams closer, please. Here's your mark. Right, blue, stay there. Come up, gold. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
So the first set scrummage, and the Australians did look good. Alain Nordecki has to pick it up. It was untidy from the French back. Now Chabal needs to try and win that back.
Gold on the side. 7.
But it's George Smith who's penalised once again.
Put it down.
And Cédric Aimaz with the penalty. Well, we take play back into Australian territory once again. As joined from the side. Sometimes gets away with it, sometimes doesn't. Sazewski with the line out then for France. Go towards Outreau, go at the back, and it's comfortably won by Australia and carried forward by Nathan Sharp. Good nudge on there from the Wallabies pack. Burgess to Giteau. Huge crossfield kick, first one to test Maxime Médard, and he does well there, the Toulouse fullback, but foolishly tries to offload and knocks the ball forward as a consequence, and the Australians turn it over, and this is a good attacking position. Burgess tries to sidestep past Sterling Mortlock, but fails to do so and falls over, but they've still got the ball. And now the opportunity for Ryan Cross. Mortlock tries to straighten his line of running. Flicked out to Giteau again, Palu. Ball held. And this is crossfield, and there are two Aussies there. One of them happens to be Hines, one of them's Adam Ashley-Cooper. In the end. And it's diving on the ball when not on their feet, and the man who's penalised is Hugh McMenamin, and so it's a bit of a let-off for the French in what's a slightly untidy passage of play here. And they'll turn to the left boot of Aimars once again. Quickly taken by the Australians. Up and under, Nordicki knocks forward. Could break here for Australia though. And it's an untidy game at the moment. Stephen Moore carrying it forward.
Counter-attack's good.
And the French have turned it over again. And now have the advantage. Chabal to Aimars. That looks like a great kick from the Toulouse winger. But the Wallabies come up with the ball and now can counter. George Smith straight into the fray on the halfway line, held up by Chabal and Savasky amongst others. Sazewski warned. Burgess with the box kick. Malzieu has to take it and he goes back into touch. And so the ball out of play, and it'll be an Australian line out now. Beautiful line out there. Sterling Mortlock again, taking the crash ball in the middle. Nathan Sharp can't carry the ball forward any further. Finding it hard to get through the French defence this time. Ball's nicely set up, but there's plenty of handling and passing it back by the Australians, and unsurprisingly they're penalised. A good decision from Joubert, the referee, and so France will get another opportunity to clear their lines. And it's just been that little bit untidy the last 10 minutes. Touch found once more. So line out to France. Dimitri Sazewski puts it to the back of the line. This time Uldrogo has it. Thilo Bord to Schrella, saw half a gap but almost managed to get it away to Benoit Babi, who was coming through like a train.
Come back for the knock-on.
And as no advantage occurs for Australia, it's going to be a scrummage to the Wallabies. Well, there's the half break from Schrella. Rode those challenges well. Eventually grabbed by George Smith, and he just couldn't quite hold on to the ball.
Good. Come up closer, please. Wait here. Come up, come up. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage. Behind you.
Untidy ball out the back, and Palu did not show good footballing skills there. And has gone forward off the Australians. And so France will now have a scrummage. We're almost a quarter of the way through the match, still no score, which is rather reminiscent of the game between France and Argentina played at the Velodrome 2 weeks ago.
Wipe your nose, please. Wipe your nose. There's not. Thank you.
And very little to put between these two sides. The one thing that will please Lièvremont is that France haven't given away any penalties in kickable positions. They know they will be punished if they do that.
Yeah, hey, bind up. I'm happy bind. You fine, yeah? No, come over, come over. You're not straight, come over. Thank you, now you stay. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Thilo Bord, and it's Alain Nordicki off the back.
Leave him.
Into Thilo Bord, saw half a gap, got taken down by Guiteau. French still have the ball, but
rolling over.
They're penalised, as you could hear there.
Rolling over on the ground.
Thilo Bord rolling over on the ground. There's the infringement, so Guiteau now with an opportunity to give the Australians some good territory. It's a fine kick and takes play onto the edge of the French 22 once more. It's been a fierce battle in there in the set so far, and it's one that's just about even. Yannick Jauzion, yet to see him really stretch his legs. Now it's Australia though. Sterling Mortlock, great tackle on him in midfield, and Guiteau's going backwards, and in the end he's snagged by Babi, but the French are penalised for coming over the top. Benoit Babi it's about the halfway line now. Will Guiteau decide to have a crack at this, or is he going to kick for touch? It could also be Sterling Mortlock will have a go at goal. He's got a bigger boot on him, the Wallaby skipper, and it is going to be that way round. Still no score in this tie. Sterling Mortlock with the first opportunity for the Wallabies. .484 points accrued during his international career, which reaches a milestone tonight. 75th cap Sterling Mortlock is winning for the Wallabies. That puts him equal with Jason Little, 10th most capped Wallaby in history. And Mortlock, unless he gets injured, is bound to chalk up 76th against the Welsh. Well, it would have had enough, but he's pushed it as well. So we've had 2 penalty attempts, 1 from each team, as Maxime Midal touches the ball down. And those adorned in the gold and green of Australia in the crowd, although some of those hats do look distinctly canary yellow. Found themselves with nothing to really celebrate. Schrella gets us back underway. And it's knocked forward by Nathan Sharp. And so a very stop-starty game, and considering the weather conditions here in Paris, nowhere near the same as they were last night when Stade Francais were playing against Castres. Drizzle running from the off in that encounter, which made handling conditions very hard. Thilo Bord, pretty fed to me, but Schrella now with the flat kick, plucked out of the air, and a kick down the line from Hines, collected by Schrella. Took man and ball, but it's tidy ball for the French, and Thilo Bord now will have an opportunity to feed Sazewski, and the hooker carries the ball forward, now needs support.
No.
French need to look at their options. One is a box kick down the line from Thilo Bord, collected by Sterling Mortlock. Sidesteps inside one, but is caught by the French player. It's untidy ball for the Australians, which they'll want to sort out. McMenamin decides to launch himself into the French pack. He's eventually brought down. Burgess tries to get the ball, but it's untidy ball again from the Wallabies, who do not appear to have the same solidity that they produced in their last encounter against England at Twickenham. There's blood on, I think it's Sterling Mortlock's head, and the French are penalised there. Well, it was either Sterling Mortlock or Stephen Moore.
Just to the left of him. At the left. Yeah.
Still doesn't appear to have been noticed. It is Sterling Mortlock who's got the gash. Well, one hopes it's his blood in some ways. And the French penalised there for playing the ball on the ground. Play comes up to the French 10-yard line then. A gripping encounter between these two mighty test-playing nations, but still no points. Guiteau. Coming in off the wing comes Digby Ione. And a great run from Ione. And he's eventually brought to the ground, just a few yards short. Burgess, 15 yards
Rep time, goal.
And the French have turned it over. Well, don't expect that. And then Schreller caught in two minds, and he's brought down by Digbeone. And the Australians could put some pressure on here. Fulgence Ouedraogo has it. Malzieu, well, what on earth was he thinking of doing there? The winger stutters, thinking about kicking, doesn't manage to do so. They need to recycle this, France. They're putting themselves in all sorts of trouble. And now Babi awaits the ball from Thilo Borde. And finally, the French managed the sensible thing, but he hasn't found touch. So a chance here for the Wallabies to counter-attack. Ryan Cross on the ball. He just sends a little pitching wedge down towards the French line, collected by Aïnodaki. Across to Malzieu. This time, what will Malzieu do? Well, he decides to run it once again. Gotta love the enterprise, but not sure it's the most sensible of options. Now Aymans, with a bit of space, decided to have a go himself. Gets it back inside to Babi. It's all very loose from France, but it's making for an entertaining spectacle, and in the end, Dimitri Suzewski is bundled into touch, and it'll be a line-out till we thought that he'd be trying to do it after 25 minutes against the Wallabies in Paris with the scores at 0-0. Wallaby line-out taken by Nathan Sharp. Plucked off and passed to Burgess, now into the midfield, and it's George Smith, and it's a huge hit, comes in from Dusautoir. Burgess now to Giteau. Giteau gets it out wide to his fullback, Hines. Carried forward now from Ben Alexander. Burgess just manages to flick that out to Giteau. It wasn't a great pass, but it's carried forward by Mum, who's got some gas on him. Eventually he's brought down by Babi, but he's still going. Wasn't a complete tackle. Now popped out, and the Wallabies start to snipe away at the French and make 10 or 15 yard gains with each phase of play. Giteau again, whipped in to fullback Ashley Cooper. The French crowd try and support their team in defence here. Well, Babi very close to getting in on an intercept. It's going to be a penalty. And the man penalised is Thierry Dusautoir. Over the top, playing the ball whilst he's not on his feet. And that is going to be bread and butter for Matt Giteau. Well, it's taken its time to get to this position for the Wallabies, but they should take the lead. Just past 25 minutes played.
David! David!
So then, Matt Giteau, 352 points for the Wallabies. Scrum cap off. Make that 3 more. It's Australia who take the lead here at the Stade de France. Prepares to get the match back underway. Just shy of the half hour. We've got just over 10 minutes to play until half time. It's a long restart. McMenamin collects it for the Wallabies and drives forward with the aid of Wycliffe Palu. Burgess to Giteau. Crossfield up and under. Needs a name on it from France. Doesn't get one, but pop back to Josion, and for the first time Yannick Josion's away. I have a feeling the referee's whistle's gone, but I have no idea what for. And I don't think anyone else has a clue what for. Craig Joubert is given a penalty here.
Came off your player's foot and the guy in front of him played the ball. It's offside.
It's accidental offside, I think he's saying. Came off Babi's foot. Schreller was in front of him. Well, it's the law. And Guiteau straight away with a chance just to launch play back into the French half. And here he comes. He claims that the ball comes off Babi's foot. I'm not entirely sure it touched Babi at all, in which case it's a horrendous decision from Craig Joubert, and it really has given Australia a chance to move into the ascendancy here. They've got a line out 15 yards shy of the French line, and they've just gone 3-0 up. Solid line-out ball taken by Munn, now released to George Smith. Smith to Mortlock, doing that crash ball in midfield that he takes so well, and there's play out here. And breaking through tackles in a way that he shouldn't, and the Aussies are just a yard short now, and they can smell a try, and the French defence needs to stand firm. They've only conceded 1 try in the Autumn Internationals so far. That came 3 minutes from time against the Pacific Islanders, but Stephen Moore blasts his way through and touches down, and Australia, having spent a huge amount of the first half on the back foot, find themselves in the lead. And it's a try from their hooker, Stephen Moore. Well taken. Second try for the hooker in Wallaby colours. And, well, a very, very different game in prospect now for the French. Although I must say, I think Craig Joubert's decision was wrong in awarding a penalty against them. And it was from that penalty, after all, that the Australians kicked themselves to within 15 yards of the French line. Still, they will have to pick themselves up and bounce back. Matt Guiteau, with what for him is another regulation opportunity to increase the lead. And like a metronome, he knocks it over. Off by hooker Stephen Moore. Restart from Skrilla. Taken by McMenamin, but dropped it, but it still went backwards. Charged down the kick. It's so fortunate for the Australians that that came back their side, but that's hands on the floor and a penalty to France now. Big decision here for Nelly. Would he decide to kick into the corner and try and go for the try? Or would he go for the 3 points? Considering that the man lying on the floor is David Skrilla, one would have been forgiven for thinking that he might do something else. As it is, Skrilla's obviously told his skipper he's absolutely fine, and so he's going to have the opportunity to kick. Skrilla did so well to get across and charge that down. And it looks as though Lionel Nallet, he's in a little bit of pain, but he's going to play on anyway. So it's a tough shot at goal, this one, for David Skrilla. And he's already missed one. It's going to be very interesting to see. Pressure on. Very important kick. Brings the French right back into it and gets them on the scoreboard. Skrilla's pulled it, so he's missed a simple drop goal attempt and he's kicked 2 penalties wide. How different the score would look if he'd nailed all 3. So far, nothing for Nathan Sharp to worry about, and a shrug there, and Benoit Babi leaves the pitch. And Damien Traille has come on to replace him. That will be interesting. Well, that's a penalty to France, and that is just unforgivable. Giving away a penalty there. Damien Traille, I wonder, will he take on the kicking duties, or is it going to be Schrella? As of yet, we're not sure why Benoit Vaby has left the pitch. And it's another opportunity from the 10-yard line, and it's just out of your picture there. What you didn't see is Fulgence Ouedraogo was tackled off the ball, just knocked out the way. So ill-discipline should be costing the Wallabies, but it's not, because Schrella doesn't seem to have his target in place at the moment. This is dead straight. It's a long kick, but it's dead straight. Schrella's evening goes from bad to worse. None from 3. And the French crowd starts to go against their players. It's the last thing you need in Paris. Fickle crowd at the best of times. Schrella needs something to get himself going. Little nudge through, collected by Ryan Cross. Now released, and the kick ahead will be from Drew Mitchell. Well taken by Schrella this time. Dummies back inside. Good run. That'll hopefully get him motivated. Thilo Borde looks to Sosevski, now to Ouedraogo, and the French continue to pour forward. Thierry Dusautoir with the ball now. France take play up to just shy of their halfway line. Now Chabal crashes through 2 tackles, is eventually taken down by Nathan Sharp. Well, the Aussies look as though they've turned that over to me, but the French somehow got it back. And the penalty's taken quickly by Thilo Borde. Once again, the cast scrum half gets it out wide. To Schrella, half a break there. Back inside. First time we've seen Maxime Ménard join the line. Again, Schrella pours forward, determined to make up for those penalty misses. Thilo Borde goes blind. To Chabal. He takes on McManaman and wins that one, hands down. Ball is out. Ouedraogo manages to get it back. There's no way the Australians are on their feet when they were playing that. Ouedraogo bursts through. However, it's been turned over, and some poor handling by the French there. But they've managed to drive back, and they've come up with the ball. Now it'll be interesting to see here whether the touch judge has any influence. It was good foraging there for Burgess.
Thank you, let's go. Scrum.
Good break though from Sosevski on 2 occasions. And it's going to be a scrummage. France needs to get some points.
Okay. Scrum balls. Scrum off straight. Come up. Crouch. Touch. Balls. England.
So scrummage for Australia. Burgess. It's a Palu pickup. More untidy ball, and that's a terrible pass. Well, my goodness. Luke Burgess gives France a gilt-edged opportunity here. Just a minute to go before half-time, and the French have a scrummage 5 yards short of the Australian line. They need to come away with something here, though. They really do. Well, the fury on the faces of the Australian pack there is understandable. That was atrocious. I have to say, I haven't been impressed by Burgess so far anyway. And that has done very little to change my opinion of him. Solid scrummage is what the French need. They get the nudge on. Aïnodiki controls the ball well. They've gone straight through the Australians here. They're just a yard short. They're over the line, and that's spoiled. And that is going to be a penalty try. Well, brilliant scrummage from the French. And I have to say, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a yellow card in here as well, but well controlled by the French pack, and all of that good play and superb progress the Australians seem to have made in the forwards against England at Twickenham was undone there. And it's George Smith who comes sliding across. That ball had not crossed the line, and in my opinion that should be a straight yellow card for George Smith, because he's not binding anymore and he's deliberately gone in there. So a penalty try is the result, but the Australians should have to play at least 10 minutes with 14 men on the pitch, because that's just a professional foul. He has absolutely no intention of playing within the laws of the game. As it is, he seems to have got away with it. Well, such an important conversion. And this time, Schreuder does find the mark. The half-time whistle goes. The French are right back in this. The score at the Stade de France is France 7, Australia 10. But my word, it could be so different if David Schreuder had kicked his goals. As it is, Australia lead by 3. But it's all to play for in the second half.
We're back at Stade de France. The team's about to run on for the second half. Quickly, before we go back to commentary, Ben Tune, your message to the Wallabies if you're coaching this side right now.
Breakdown, breakdown, breakdown. That's basically where all their issues are stemming from. They're not committing enough numbers. The ball they're getting is extremely scrappy. That's where this game is won and lost, at the breakdown, and the French are totally dominating that area at the moment.
Well, that's the other side of the Luke Burgess equation too. Is the criticism, apart from that pass back over the dead ball line, is it fair to criticise Luke when maybe the momentum's not helping him get clean ball?
Oh, it's definitely not helping him. And you can see he goes to pick up the ball, he goes to pass the ball, and he's got 4 or 5 French hands all over it.
Let's go back to live commentary.
David Schreuder kicked his penalties. He missed 3 in the first half, and also a very easy drop goal attempt. It's the French who get the second half underway, and in the end knocked forward by Sazevski when it looked as though they were going to have a good chance to steal the ball there. Burgess, who put them under pressure, but charged down again, and Giteau has been charged down twice now, and in the end it takes Drew Mitchell back there covering, but a chance for Maxime Médard to cover, and Médard puts up the left-footed up and under, trying to bring Aymans into play. Aymans gets it back, and it's a positive start from France, who really have got their tails up at the moment. And ever since missing that third penalty, Schreuder is playing like a man possessed out there, and that is backed up with that great kick down into the corner. And so after just 50 seconds of the second half, real pressure on here. Good play from Aymans, well collected. But here's the second charge down in as many moments, and it was from the first charge down and then a disastrous pass. But the French got themselves into a position to score the penalty try. Solid line out from the Wallabies. And it's going to need a solid pass from Luke Burgess, who just before half-time threw a really woeful pass back to Matt Giteau, and as a consequence France managed to come away. It's Burgess with the clearance kick. It's got to Malzieu, who dances back inside, 2 tackles, now needs support from his forwards, gets it from Sazevski. Schreuder whips it out into midfield. Traille is there, Damien Traille, all popped back towards Médard, and Mortlock intercepted, and for a second it looked as though he might get away. Wyclef Palu carries the ball forward for the Australians, and it started in a very open fashion, which it was in the first half as well, for large stretches of play. And Giteau now produces a superb kick, and Julien Malzieu looks as though he's struggling a little bit. Just a good run, and another man who's struggling out there is the French skipper. Craig Joubert calls for a stop to the clock to do his own bootlaces up. So from one end to the other, that's been the sort of game it's been. And it's going to be a change for the French, and Romain Miloslawski comes on to replace the skipper Lionel Nane. He was in pain early on, it looks slightly worse now. Szarzewski. It's going to be Cheval at the front of the line, and he was taken out in the air. The French managed to keep the ball there. Thilo Borde fires it back to Strela. Awkward ball to deal with there for Heinz. Drew Mitchell is tackled in the midfield. The Wallabies set the ball. Fulgence Ouedraogo warned by Craig Joubert. Giteau out to Moore, the try scorer. Palu brought to the ground by Chabal. Szarzewski drives in. Giteau, again, not great delivery to him, but does well to pick it up, and through the middle streaming comes Digby Iona. And it's a penalty given against the Wallabies there, not staying on their feet. And so France will have the opportunity to now clear their lines, just alleviate a little bit of the pressure. It's going to be the boot of Damien Traille that they turn to, the Biarritz centre. He's hooked it. Still takes play down to just shy of the Wallaby 22. Damien Traille coming on to win his 66th cap for France today. There was Digby Ione, and that was Palu being tackled by Chabal just a few moments later after Ione had come in off the line. Szarzewski. Big line out for the Stade Francais hooker. Goes to the back of the line. Ouedraogo plucks it out the air. Thilo Borde to Strela. Slight mismove, and Malzieu has to dance back inside. He'll need support. Médard was joining the line there, but the pass couldn't find the Toulouse fullback. And now Strela with the crossfield kick. Plenty of pressure on here. Aymans is up there, but the referee's whistle's gone. And he's accusing Aymans of being in front of the kicker. Well, Craig Joubert's got plenty of decisions like that wrong so far today. I'd love to see a replay of it. So it's going to be scrum or kick. They're going to take the kick, rather unsurprisingly.
Cheers, Changus.
Giteau the touch. It's not the best kick. Well, here is demonstration. Well, there's absolutely no way that Cedric Aymans is in front of the kicker. Just absolutely no way. Terrible decision from Joubert once more. Line out to Australia, which apparently was straight. Giteau.
Backward.
Knocked backwards. That's the decision this time by Mr. Joubert. Thilo Borde. Put pressure on, it's gone straight down Ione's throat, which is not a good kick. And Drew Mitchell hoists the up and under. And he almost got underneath it, but Thilo Borde managed to get away with it, and Thilo Borde half breaks. Tackled by Sterling Mortlock, a real skipper's challenge there. Moore now has to bring down Ouedraogo. Szarzewski fires it into the backs, out to Strela. Now Chabal carries the ball forward up against Nathan Sharp. And Mum is the man who eventually brings him down. French needed quicker ball there. Slowed down on the edge of the 22. Douce-Trois with Arnaud Dequy going to take on Palu. Chabal decides to have another go himself. Ball is set. Szarzewski. Nathan Sharp drives Maz round, but he came in from the side. This is an imminently kickable opportunity. Good work from Szarzewski. The French are in a scrap, but at the moment it has to be said that they're the side who are coming out on top. Nathan Sharp, the man penalised there. It could be Ali Backstep because he joined from the side as well. There was Thilo Borde, eventually collecting it and then setting off on that thrilling little run before being brought down by Sterling Mortlock. Well, none from 3 penalty goal attempts. He managed to kick the conversion, so 1 from 4. This side should favour Skrilla. He needs to relax. This will bring it back to all square. He starts with a roar from the French crowd in the way that he... Guiteau with the restart. Oh, was that knocked forward? Apparently not. So line out there for the Wallabies from the restart.
Come in, Gold.
Damien Traille, who replaced Benoit Babi 10 minutes before half-time. Line out from Stephen Moore, plucked out of the air by Sharp. Now Guiteau gets it out into the centres. This carried forward by Adam Ashley Cooper. He's eventually brought down, but quick ball here for the Australians could be useful. But Guiteau sees his kick thrown to ground. The French unable to keep it in play. Ione carries it forward, but then kicks possession away. Heymans takes it, but he's not 10 yards, and so... Well, that was just so naive from Dipi Ione. It was unbelievable. And the referee points that out to him. That was perfectly stupid. Gives the French 10 yards. And, of course, not now put the ball into touch. So an up and under ensues, and it's knocked forward by Burgess. Or did it go backwards? That seems to be the decision backwards. Maz out wide. Little chip ahead. And the ball just rolls into touch. Rings out around the Stade de France. The crowd sense this could be a golden opportunity. Line out to the Wallabies. 10 yards from their own line. Stephen Moore has thrown well so far, and he also has a try to his name. Beautifully taken by Dean Mum, and the Wallaby pack try to scramble the ball forward. Clearance kick from Guiteau is sliced. Heymans to Medard, and he's gone from a very speculative drop goal attempt, and that is going upstairs because Monsieur Joubert cannot tell whether that crossed or not. Well, Medard seems to think it did. It's an audacious attempt. That's over. That's 13-10 to France. Absolutely no doubt about it. And there are the points. Well, Maxime Medard, 3rd cap, and he's now going for outlandish drop goal attempts, and this one crosses. I'm not entirely sure why they're having to have another look at it, because it was fairly clear from that opening angle that it crossed. And there we go. Clearly a drop goal for France. 13-10. And it is no real surprise that the crowd are getting so restless, because the video referee is possibly taking another look at it. I don't know why, because both angles we've just seen it from show that the ball clearly, if you watch now, goes out of vision behind that post, and then it clears the other. So it's a drop goal. It's 3 points.
And 3 points, it's over.
And finally, the decision goes the way of the French. An interminably long time it took to make that decision. But Maxime Medard, with his first drop goal in national colours, has given France the lead for the first time in the game. And having trailed 10-0 with just a minute to go before half-time, They now find themselves 12 minutes into the second half, leading by 13 points to 10. Julien Malzieu collects the restart from Matt Guiteau. And a real buzz flying around the Stade de France at the moment, and the Australians give away yet another penalty. And France will have what should be an easy opportunity to clear their lines. Chabal passes on a few words of encouragement and advice to Julien Malzieu. Cédric Heymans makes sure of touch, and the touch judge takes play to just over halfway. Hands on the deck there. There's a line out from Dean Mumm, who's had a pretty decent performance so far. Sazewski, that's won by the Wallabies. Guiteau looks for the best position. Malzieu across to Médard. He's out of his 22, so he mustn't put it into touch. He hasn't. Put it straight down the throat of Drew Mitchell instead. And now Dick Biaone with a chance to counter-attack. Very exciting prospect, this winger. Gets it back inside, and the ball hustled into touch. And once again, Dimitri Sazewski getting through plenty of work. Winning his 30th cap for France today. He needs to start hitting his man in the line-out. Been untidy the last few. In order keep. Solid ball from the Biarritz number 8. And Sazewski has it. And the French roll forward. Dusautoir.
Okay, go right now, gold!
Driven off the ball. The French still carry the ball forward. And the up and under is knocked forward by Aone, and this is a great chance. Dusautoir picks up the advantage with the French. And in order keep sets off. Guiteau brings him down. Thiloubord to Schrella. Little grubber kick through. Well dealt with by Drew Mitchell, but he's upended by Médard. And that's untidy ball. Luc Burgess this time finally manages to get it back, and touch has been missed. Médard has it. Will he think about another drop goal? No. He'll feed Sébastien Chabal, who ploughs through Stephen Moore.
In the side. 18 blue in the side.
But Sazewski is penalised for driving in from the side, and it's not Chabal who is penalised, but Dimitri Sazewski. Slightly quizzical look on the face of the Sale player. Knocked Stephen Taylor backwards there. I mean, the Aussie hooker did eventually bring him to ground, but penalty is the result. And it's a fine touch found by Matt Guiteau to take Australia into French territory for the first time in 10 minutes. And it's a very long and good kick, and we're going to see a change here. And it's Benjamin Keza who comes on to replace Dimitri Sazewski. So Stephen Moore now with a very important line out, shortened for the Australians, just 4. Sharp down to Burgess, Guiteau, and it's Sterling Mortlock who carries that forward. Recycled quickly. Ali Baxter was ready to receive that from Burgess. Instead it's Sharp. And the Australians now on the front foot. Been end-to-end stuff throughout this game. Still 24 minutes left to play. France leading 13-10. Palu out to Stephen Moore, the try scorer in the first half, and it's a dangerous position this for the Wallabies. Guiteau, great arms, and it's going to be a try. And it's well taken indeed by Peter Hines, and a second Australian try. They were on the front foot, and they just eked out that opening overlap on the right-hand side. And Peter Hines goes across for his third Wallaby try. Great hands from Giteau and Mortlock. Two old heads put together. And Peter Hines in. Well, that's deflated this French crowd, rather unsurprisingly. So France will have to fight back once again. But how many points are they going to have to overhaul? Australian lead up to 2 at the moment. Giteau just missed the 1 penalty so far. Kicked England into submission a week ago. Can he do the same to France? No, he's pulled that one. So there are no extra points for the Wallabies, and their lead will remain in a precarious 2. Front row, it's Benoit Lecoul, who comes on to replace Nicolas Maz. Maz, whose club side Perpignan went down against Clermont earlier today. The restart from Strela. And the French pour forward, but the Wallabies have wrapped up the ball.
Stay.
Fired out to Giteau. Mark Chisholm has come on to replace Wycliffe Palu. Presume that Chisholm will go into the second row, and that'll mean McManaman will drop into the back row. Line out now to France. 14 yards inside Wallaby territory. Kaiser with his first throw-in. It's too long and it's been plucked out the air. That was forward to George Smith, but once again missed by the not so vigilant Mr. Joubert. Medard with the clearance kick. It's gone very long to the edge of the 22. Collected, and now Giteau will put it back for the Wallabies. Great kick. Puts real pressure here on Damien Traille, who just nudges one over the top. French crowd feel that he was taken out. Drew Mitchell hoists one forward. Collected by Damien Traille on this occasion. And the Australians need to get away from the ball, which has been set there.
From the kick, blue scrum.
And so it's going to be a scrummage to France, just inside their own 22. And the Wallabies happy with the work there from Drew Mitchell. Go back a couple of phases of play, and there was a clear forward pass to George Smith, which
There's a mark.
was yet another.
No, I want them close. I want them close. There's a mark. Come up.
Error
please.
by
Thank you.
the referee here.
No, I'm happy. Go. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Well, we haven't had many set scrums in the second half.
All right. Come. Thank you. Yeah. Sorry. Please come. Hold this. Right.
Plenty of chatter going on
binding the
between
side, please.
the 2 front rows.
There's a mark. Come up, please, Lucid. Come up, Lucid. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
The whistle goes once again.
Head on the up.
Well,
Elbow up, please. Yes. And long bind. There. Come up
Craig
closer.
Joubert.
Come up. Come up. No. Step closer. Crouch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Alain Ordeke with the number 8 pickup shrugs off the challenge first of all of Burgess, and then carries it into contact with Mum. Fired back to Strela, who made a bit of a hash of collecting that. Eventually gets the up and under away. And Damien Traille is underneath that. Well collected by the Biarritz centre. Now Thilo Borde to release. Not a good offload from him. And they have to think about options here. Josian decides to go forward and
Roll away, 5!
is with Chabal, but it's untidy
Roll away,
ball
2
again
goals.
from the French. Emmanuel Arénaudière saves it,
2 goals, roll away.
and Stephen Moore is penalised, and it's a penalty for France, which
I want you to roll somewhere clear of the ball.
Thilou Borde thought about taking quickly and was dissuaded by Thierry Dusautois. Chabal continues to impress with his huge hits and carrying the ball into contact, but
Cheers.
France, can this home support buoy
Come up, please.
Les Bleus forward towards victory? Australia haven't won against France in France since the year 2000, when they won on this very ground by 18 points to 13. They then went down to Marseille and lost. Only one test between the two this time. Knocked forward there by Mum. Advantage to the French. Strela. Aymans in off his line. Tries to fire it across. It's knocked forward now. Has the advantage gone? Answer to that question seems to be yes.
Behind 11.
Burgess with the box kick.
Fine.
And that's collected. Well collected by France.
Let it go, 4 goals.
McManaman around there. Now the crossfield kick comes from Josion. Drew Mitchell has not looked happy under the high ball. Not penalised. As in, the referee thought that that didn't go forward. Hines grubs a kick through, comes back, and then plenty of work here. And Ioni finds touch, but it's only 6 yards short of the 10-yard line, and so France have made some good ground there from Damien Try's chip ahead.
Send them on.
Being made
Wait.
is the introduction of Sekope Kepu in place of Ben Alexander. So both sides have made significant changes. Keza to Milos Luski, claimed by the Toulouse lock. Held at the back there by Keza. They need to be careful not to get pushed into touch. Chabal carries the ball forward now and sees off the challenge of McManaman. Now the French release, and it's across field, up and under. Underneath it is Hines. He needed to mark, and he does so very well. The man who scored the points that currently separate these two sides.
Careful, McLean.
Kicks up to halfway. So the French continuing to pepper
I believe you, I do.
the back three.
Just stay careful.
And Traille felt that he was being forced away there by Sterling Mortlock. Clever play there by the Aussie skipper to protect the winger. Keza to Ouedraogo. Well, it's another shoddy line-out ball from the French. Not a facet of the game that they've impressed with today. Sterling Mortlock carries it forward accordingly. Popped off to Nathan Sharp. Accordingly, goes foraging once again. Now to Guiteau. This time it's Mortlock, but he's held up in the middle. Accordingly goes the other way. Mismove. Still a chance to get it outside to Ioni, but that was a forward pass. So spotted this one. Scrummage to France. Just over 15 minutes remaining.
17. Get your behind up.
Would have been interesting to see that in a foot race. Ione, very quick indeed. Just winning his second cap tonight.
No, do
The
it.
Queensland Red swinger.
Touch. Touch. Early.
And it's a free kick. Emmanuel Arénaudière carries it forward for
Roll away,
France.
7.
And George Smith is a mile offside once again.
6 goals.
I have to say, Craig Joubert has been incredibly tolerant with the Australians continue encroachment. Accordingly, makes the tackle this time. Thilo Bord rucks in there. And accordingly, apparently couldn't move, and so France have to settle for a scrummage.
Too early, you were going on even before I said pause.
Craig Joubert telling the Australians why they gave away the free kick last time. Touch, pause, engage.
Yes. Crouch, touch, pause, engage.
Aaron Ordeke. Well, this is a penalty, and I would say this is probably kickable. And at this stage of the game, I should imagine France will go for it, especially when you have someone like Damien Traille who can kick from this range. But David Schreuder fancies it as well, and he's nailed his first kick in this half. And this would be to put France 1 point into the lead. So it's going to be a nervous and tense finale, whatever happens here.
On the clock.
Not binding. Appears to have been the decision on that occasion. Just 2 from 5, but none of that will matter if he kicks this one and France score victory by 16 points to 15. Nothing will matter. No statistics will be remembered. It'll just be whether he kicked the winning kick or not. Bernard Laporte, the former French national team coach, now a Minister for Sport in Nicolas Sarkozy's government, watches on intently. And, it's a horrible kick. And it hasn't gone particularly well for Schreuder.
Yes.
Who's to
6.
say whether he'll get a better opportunity? The Islanders may be able to conjure something else up here. Guiteau goes for length.
Sorry, time is off. Repeat, please.
Referees whistle.
The substitution's done.
Last shrill and clear.
Time is now on.
So referee wants to get it going once again with the clock running this time. Guiteau goes even longer this time to Schreuder. Up and under once more from the fly half. Standing underneath it is Drew Mitchell. He's caught. Guiteau will get across though and flick it down the line, but succeeds only in picking out Damien Traille. Another crossfield up and under, this time collected in midfield by Adam Ashley Cooper. But
sealing off straight away. The first man sealing it off.
First man in, sealed the ball off illegally, and France have a penalty chance, and Schreuder stays down. David Schreuder has kicked just 2 from 6, one of those a conversion, 1 a penalty. From this side, it's 45 metres, it's a fair old whack. He's got to have confidence in himself, and I don't think that David Schreuder does have the confidence in himself at the moment, not judging by the reaction he's had to a couple of his misses. Still, with 8.5 minutes to go, this penalty to put France clear by 1 again. It's a miserable effort. It really has been a disastrous kicking display from David Schreuder. The French are going to have to do this another way if they want to come out on top. Picamal knocks backwards, now carried forward, up and under. Chased by Thilo Bord. Ashley Cooper felt the full force there being taken out in the air, and I have to say that I think that Craig Joubert should have penalised the little French scrum half. As it is, Guiteau has a chance to clear. This one's collected by Damien Traille. Hoists the up and under himself. Collected by Ione, but Traille is there with Ouedraogo now. Sam accordingly waits for the ball. Guiteau. Collected by Aymans to Malzieu. Mismove out to Medard with a chance to get on the front foot, but he didn't look what he was doing there at all, and the Wallabies are suddenly away, and they've got players out wide in their legions on the right. As it was carried forward on the left, but they still have an overlap here, and the Wallabies could put this game to bed. Probably not a sensible option carrying that forward. Ali Baxter now, and the French find themselves in serious trouble, especially on defensive duty. Nathan Sharp's held up. It's going to be a penalty to the Wallabies, not rolling away.
Lying all over the man, roll out of the tackle.
And I think you will see when he gets up that it was David Scola who was the man who was penalised. Just wonder whether this evening can get any worse for the Toulouse fly half.
There's no use debating it, Sterling. It's pretty clear, hey?
I also have to pose the question, Damien Traille, although he has been known to hit some of the worst penalty kick attempts at the Stade de France in the past 5 years, he has also landed kicks, and he's been the nominated kicker for France. Now, it's been obvious that Scola is not on top of his game as far as kicking's concerned, just 2 from 7 attempts. And it's going to be what costs the French the game. Absolutely no doubt about it. Unless Australia were to run in a brace of tries in the closing 5 minutes, which I think is highly unlikely, they're going to kick this penalty to move 5 points clear. And again, that might not be the worst thing, because France know that they're not going to get any joy as far as kicking points is concerned, so they're going to have to try and score another try. Robbie Deans, well, saw that he wouldn't be playing any further part, and it's Quade Cooper who comes on, and Scola this time with a high tackle on Ioane.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Come here, 10. Come here, 10.
It's going to be a yellow card for David Scola, and that completes a miserable evening for David Scola. Probably his worst performance in a French shirt, I wouldn't be surprised. In the middle of it, he had a moment that was going well, but that's a horrible high tackle. The middle 20 minutes of this match are probably some of the best rugby he's played. If it wasn't for his goal kicking, he was beginning to turn it into a good performance, but then 2 more penalty misses in this second half, taking his total to 5 missed kicks in total. And Matt Guiteau with a real opportunity to put this game to bed. And the French, well, they have had countless opportunities to retake the lead. They'd have countless opportunities to dominate the opposition. The Wallabies have not been impressive at all, and yet they look as though they're going to come away with a win. Guiteau hits the post, and the French clear it away. So the lead remains only 5 points. Quick line out, carried forward by McManaman. French have to be careful here not to give away any stupid penalties. Quade Cooper getting it out to Sterling Mortlock. Australians have dominated possession in the last 10 minutes. Now carried forward by Kepu. Well played. Great turnover from Chabal. Looking forward from Thilou-Borde is then dispatched back down the field. Louis Picamont gets up ahead of steam, the Montpellier number 8. Set Thilou-Borde to Chabal. Can he summon up a bit more energy? Thilou-Borde now into the backs. Fulgence Ouedraogo is one of the men standing in the line, and the flanker has to carry it back in. France need to look at their options. They've got 3 minutes left to play. Kept in hand, Josian to Emmanuel Arenoleki. Thilou-Borde again, Aymans Cédric Gaimans goes on the outside. France up to just short of halfway. Thiloubord again. Need to keep the ball in hand. And that they do. Held on well by Damien Traille. And the French will get the put in. 2 minutes left to play. And Craig Joubert stops the clock. The Marseillaise rings out around the ground once again. Those supporters will know. That they should have been departing this ground, having seen a victory for France. As it is, that's looking ever increasingly unlikely. Another change being made. Alexis Palisson comes on to replace Sébastien Thiloubord. In fact, I apologise, it's Julien Thomas who comes on.
Come on, let's go. Yeah, don't run the clock. Don't run the clock. Crutch. Touch. Pause. And go. Bind up.
So Thomas with the put in. Louis Picamol to Thomas. Back inside, beautifully done. Carried forward by Josian, and then George Smith is...
Tackle.
Well, George Smith has played not even on the boundaries of the game. Chabal charges forward and yet has managed not to be yellow carded, which I find absolutely extraordinary. Carried forward by Louis Picamol. Can the French summon up something? Thomas to Aïn-Odeki. They need to put phases of play together here. Thomas straightened from Picamol. He needed support. Carried forward, half a break once more. The 14 men of France up against the 15 of Australia. Lecoul. Thomas again to Aïn-Odeki. Just manages to shrug off Kepou. Chabal over the top. Now it goes out into the backs. Médard. Great handling, considering that was some pretty average passing. Médard into the line once more. Josian and Thomas. Kayser straightens, assisted by Palisson. Thomas goes foraging for the ball once more. They haven't got Vincent Clerc on the pitch. The sort of trickery that you would want in this closing part of the game. They haven't got many options out wide there either. Dragging himself to his feet once again, Palisson to carry it forward. And Sterling Morlock knows that that's it.
21 on your feet. No, settle.
And that's Stephen Moore.
Settle.
And the referee needs to keep control here, because Stephen Moore with some afters on Damien Traille.
Okay, all right. Move back. Excuse me, 7.
And Craig Joubert is going to have a word.
Move back, 13. Going to ground, penalties here.
Well, it's going to ground. Penalty is given. Guiteau kicks it out, and there is the final whistle from Craig Joubert. It's a deflating feeling around the Stade de France, because France know they should have won this game. In the end, though, 2 tries to 1, the Australians outscored them. And those tries came courtesy of Stephen Moore and then Peter Hines. A penalty try for France, but 5 missed penalty kicks from David Skrilla proved to be ever so costly, and Skrilla was in the end sin-binned with 5 minutes to go. One would have to say that really it looked as though it should be the French that would win this one, but in the same way as they did in 2000, the last time that they won at the Stade de France. The final score here is Australia 18, France 13.
And a bit of familiarity there between Cordingley and Chabal, we noticed, and Sam has played a bit in France, Junie?
Yeah, he played a couple of seasons in France before coming back to Australia to reignite his Wallaby career.
And we just saw Stephen Moore ignite in a different way in the last moments of that game, but it didn't turn out to be anything too dramatic. Chabal stepped in, but Once again, the Wallaby huddle. And they seem to be able to nut out a victory when things aren't going particularly well. It's a character-building tour, this. Now the French going into their own huddle. And Livremont making a number of changes in the second half. He also is trying to find a good settled combination and depth. Big task again next weekend for the Wallabies, and that is Wales, who were the form side in the Six Nations, unbeaten. And I must say, in what I've seen of them in recent matches, yes, they were going to face the All Blacks around the same time as this game, but nevertheless have played very well recently too. We'll take a break and wrap it up after this.